They didn't start as friends. At first, there was hesitation, no trust. Just two lives forced into the same space, separated by a silent, invisible wall. They came from different worlds. One was cautious, always observing from a distance, carrying the weight of past uncertainties. The other was restless, eager for connection, but unsure how to bridge the gap. Their days were spent in parallel, sharing the same light, the same air, but never the same moment. Most people who saw them assumed this would never work. The differences seemed too great, the instincts too opposed. It was easy to look at them and see only the space between them, a quiet testament to their separate origins. It felt like an arrangement destined to fail, a pairing that defied nature itself. Each sunrise brought the same routine of careful avoidance, a dance of silent negotiation around shared territory. Their movements were a map of their mutual apprehension. One would retreat if the other advanced. They would eat separately, rest separately, and watch the world from opposite ends of their enclosure. There was no aggression, no conflict, just a profound and stubborn distance. It was a quiet stalemate, and it seemed like it could last forever. But then, something small changed everything. It wasn't a moment of noise, not a dramatic event or a sudden breakthrough. It was just presence. One afternoon, during a quiet lull, one of them didn't retreat. They just stayed. A few feet apart, a silent acknowledgement passed between them. There was no grand gesture, only the simple act of choosing not to leave. This tiny shift, almost unnoticeable to a casual observer, was the first thread in a bond that no one saw coming. It was the moment the invisible wall began to dissolve. Not with a crash, but with a whisper. That single act of staying became a new language. It was a promise without words, a signal that perhaps this shared space didn't have to be a battleground of instincts. It could be something else. It could be a sanctuary. And in that shared stillness, the first seed of trust was planted, deep in the quiet soil of patience. Day by day, that small act of staying was repeated. The distance between them began to shrink, not in leaps and bounds, but inch by quiet inch. Hesitation softened into curiosity. A shared glance was no longer a challenge, but a question. Soon, they were resting in the same patch of sunlight, not touching, but close enough to feel each other's warmth. Distance became familiarity, and familiarity, slowly, carefully, turned into trust. They didn't need to understand each other's pasts or the fears that shaped them. They didn't need a common language. They only needed to stay, to be a constant, reassuring presence in each other's lives. The simple routine of their days became a source of comfort. The sight of the other resting peacefully brought a sense of calm. They were learning to rely not on what they had in common, but on the steady, dependable rhythm of their shared existence. The space that once separated them was now a bridge, built one quiet moment at a time. It was a testament to the idea that companionship doesn't always need explanation. Sometimes, it just needs time. What formed between them wasn't planned. It wasn't expected by anyone who knew their stories. But it was real. It was a bond forged not in similarity, but in shared solitude. A friendship that grew in the silent spaces where words weren't necessary. You could see it in the way they moved together, a synchronized, unspoken dance. You could see it in the soft gaze they shared, a look of complete and total acceptance. This connection, born from patience and persistence, didn't just change their days, it transformed their entire world. The fear that once defined their interactions was replaced by a deep, unwavering sense of peace. They found safety in each other's company, a refuge from the world outside. It was a reminder that sometimes the most profound relationships are the ones we never see coming, the ones that quietly rewrite the rules of what we thought was possible. Their bond became a silent, powerful story of healing and acceptance. Not all bonds begin with a spark of immediate friendship. Some are built slowly, carefully, over time. They begin not with love, but with patience, with the willingness to sit with uncertainty, to offer space, and to simply be present. And sometimes, that quiet, steady patience is more powerful than any grand declaration. Sometimes, that is enough to change everything. This quiet connection, this unlikely friendship, is a beautiful reminder that the most meaningful changes in our lives often happen without a sound, growing in the stillness until they become the very air we breathe. Thank you for watching Heartbeam, where stories touch the soul. If this moved you, please subscribe, like and share the video. And don't forget to explore more of our videos. Every story has the power to heal and inspire.